Hi everyone, this is KTRU Radio. I'm Rachel here with Sam Tsui.
Hi, how's it going?
The few who don't know you, you've been like pretty much on the YouTube scene since almost the beginning of YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm sure there are more than a few that don't know who I am, but you're very generous. No, but yeah, definitely was one of the OG sort of music YouTube creators, certainly, and it's been really cool to watch the platform and the community grow into the amazing thing it has become in the past several years, for sure.
What was your first introduction to music?
Yeah. My mom was a high school music teacher in Iowa, so definitely grew up with music. My dad, while not a musician himself, he loves to sing some karaoke, and his mom was actually a Chinese opera singer. She sang at a bunch of Chinese opera. So from both sides, I have kind of music in my veins. But yeah, growing up in the house, we had a piano. I loved like musicals and show tunes, so I'd play them with my mom. I of course sang in like choir, did band, and then in college I did a cappella. So there was always music around. I always knew that in some way or another I was gonna pursue that with my life. I didn't quite necessarily know that it would take the shape that it has. I'm very lucky that it has, and I'm able to do what I love. But yeah, always knew it was going to be a musical journey for sure.
A lot of the videos that you created and still create are with Kurt. How did you guys meet in the first place?
Yeah, Kurt Hugo Schneider, and I grew up down the street from one another in Pennsylvania. We went to same middle school, high school. He did, choir and all the musicals too. So we would sometimes carpool and drive each other. And we both happened to go to Yale for college. He was a year above me. And so we were the only, two kids from our high school who were there. So we stayed friends. And in college was when we started uploading videos on YouTube. For those first several years, he would do the production, I would do the singing, and we built a little something special that way. And then, flash forward, we're both still lucky to be able to be doing what we love. He's still making tons of videos. We often will still collaborate and do stuff together. And it's really cool to have a friend that goes so far back, still kind of like, in your circle, both professionally and socially. And it's awesome.
Circling back to your college days and like your time in acapella, do you think that's shaped kind of your musical direction or at least your musical style?
Absolutely. I think, any kind of band, choir, acapella that you do when you're young or in middle school or high school or college, I mean, is so formative on how you relate to music and how you understand music. So definitely, I mean, in all of my music, I love kind of vocal harmonies and arranging vocal stuff. And that obviously I have acapella to thank for sure. But also just having to arrange for acapella and stuff, it teaches you some music theory that can be really important when you're songwriting, and allows you to just be creative and sort of think outside a kind of narrow pop harmonic vernacular that I think is easy to get stuck into. So just having any of these other musical influences like musical theater or opera or a cappella, I think are always add a little interesting flavor to the pot. And I'm so grateful to have sort of had that background when I'm, songwriting and producing today.
Besides all of the covers that you've released, you've also had your own music from starting from 2010 with I Don't Want an Ending and Start Again up till now, where you have many singles of your own plus 2 albums.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about like the very first original song, I Don't Want an Ending, and kind of like how that came to be?
Yeah, I mean, in those early days, the whole idea that you could create a career as an independent musician just by posting on this platform of YouTube was still a very new idea. And so we were very much figuring it out as we went and just trying to make stuff that we loved that hopefully would connect to people and that people would want to share. And we were able to do that with the covers, of course, and taking the leap. The next step to original stuff was definitely a little scary at first. We were like, you know, are people love the covers and love the mashups, are they gonna be as receptive to this? And so for that first song, Don't Want an Ending, we made a whole little music video of it and we put it out, you know, crossed our fingers, and the reaction was awesome. And people, you know, really, I think anyone you watch online or on YouTube or on any of these platforms, you get really invested in them, and by sharing and by being a part of that community, you really become invested in what they're doing and a part of it. So I think a lot of people who were watching were so excited to hear original stuff because they were part of this story. They were part of this community and really responsible for any successes we had. So that I think allowed us to really start to get more creative and do more original stuff. And yeah, after Don't Want an Ending, we did Start Again. I had a whole album called Make It Up, inspired by what I said, the fact that I think everyone is just sort of making things up as they go, all the way, to now. I released Trust last year. I'm working on another album this year. It's now the original stuff is definitely my favorite stuff to work on. Although of course we still do the covers and mashups, and those are a ton of fun. But it's really rewarding to, you know, go on tour and play Don't Want an Ending, and everyone's singing along to the words. It's like such a magical moment, and I love it.
Okay, I can't come up with the song right now, but one of the songs on Trust, you had the lyric, something naive.
Oh, in Trust, in the song Trust. Yeah, I like to do little callbacks to my other songs and songs. I feel like that's maybe a musical theater thing, you know, when in a show, you like in one song you'll have like the theme from another and it connects them all. So yeah, I like to, that's one of my little fun things. I like to put in little I think in there's in Trust I say a little bit of like let's be naive. I think in it's I honestly forget how to keep track of them, but I that's a little Easter egg I enjoy doing. So the fans who've been listening for a while sometimes will hear little bits of the melodies of other songs, like it's, you know, one big musical of my life or something.
Say you can argue an artist's career can be like a musical.
Absolutely. You know, I hope when I'm dead and gone, they'll make a jukebox musical of all my music. That would be the highest praise. Give me a little, you know, Mamma Mia or, you know, I would not be mad.
Let's talk first about Make It Up.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the track list again.
Sure.
Okay. What's your favorite song to talk about on that album? And can you give us a little bit of insight on inspiration for it?
Yeah. I mean, you know, talking about favorite songs from an album is like so hard because they're all, you know, you put so much work and thought and emotion into all of them. So it's hard. But I mean, I think the one that has kind of, well, like the Shadow is the one I still play most often on tour. And that's kind of this piano ballad. It was one of the first songs I wrote for the album. Actually, I wrote that song while I was still at Yale. And yeah, I just remember, I guess, distinctly, you know, being in my senior year housing at Yale on my little unweighted keyboard, playing that song and kind of figuring that song out. And so that's really special to have gotten to put that on the album. We did a beautiful music video with dancers for that. And still to this day, you know, whenever we go on tour, that is definitely one of the songs that's always in the set list, because people really connected to it. And so that one's really special. Bring Me the Night is the other one from that album that occasionally I'll look at Spotify views, and that one is definitely one of the ones that people are still going back to and listening a lot. And that was a duet with the amazing Keena Granis. We asked her to be on the track, and she amazingly said yes. And now we're very good friends with Keena, and so it's fun to look back and be like, remember when we did that? We didn't know each other as well, and now we're But that song is also really special.
Moving on to Trust, do you have a favorite song to talk about? Like, it doesn't have to be your favorite song.
Yeah.
Just like, do you think has the most unique backstory?
That's a really good question. I mean, you know, I feel even though when putting together an album, you know, I like to make sure that there's a bunch of sort of like fun up-tempo songs, because like when we go on tour and play in live performance, those are so much fun to do, a big kind of like funky dance numbers. But oftentimes the ones that then you sort of take away as your favorites tend to be like the ballads and the emotional ones. So, I mean, one of my favorites is Carousel on the Trust album. And that's this sort of, again, another ballad about life and the brevity of life. And for the music video on that one, it was really fun. I went through every piece of footage I could find in my mom's, basement of me when I was young, all the way up to now, sort of like collecting and organizing literally all the footage I could find of my life and putting it together into one video, which was really a challenge. But now, but I encourage everyone to go through and like digitize all your old, if you have like VHS or stuff from an old camcorder from the early 2000s, and just like put it all in one place. It was a really good exercise, and it's really emotional to be able to put that music video together for that song. And that's another one I love doing on tour as well.
Geez, VHS.
I know.
I remember that.
I know, right? And but yeah, like I got the adapter and did all the stuff. I was like a little, tech wizard, digitizing all my old, plays and old choir performances. It was fun.
Talk to me about your current year-long project.
Yeah. So right now, I guess my third full-length original album is underway. The tentative name is it's the Yearbook Album Project. And what it is every month this year I'm releasing a new song that is sort of about or inspired by that month. So, usually when you're putting together an album, you'll write 20, 30, however many songs, and then sit down with all of them and kind of pick out the ones that fit together or that you think are the best, then organize them into an order and then put that out. But I think one of the great things about releasing stuff on YouTube is how not only immediate things are, but how it's kind of an evolving conversation. And so I wanted my next album to sort of emulate that. And instead of writing a bunch of songs up front and then putting them together, I wanted to kind of allow the people who listen to my music to kind of come along on the journey. So I'm literally writing and producing each of these songs within, a couple weeks of putting them out, which is definitely a challenge, but also a really kind of fun way to approach an album. So, it really is kind of following a little diary of this year. The song I put out in January, I had written at the beginning of January. The song I put out in February, I wrote right at the beginning of February. And, again, the project is still in process, so we'll see. But the most recent song I put out was for May. And it was a song called Walking that I wrote for my mom because, May has Mother's Day. So, right, all these songs are kind of about things that we're feeling as the year goes on in these months, sort of inspired by the collective kind of experience of a year and these months. So it's a lot of fun, and if nothing else, like a very good way to force myself to just sort of release music. I think being a perfectionist, it's easy to like hold something and work on it until you think it's perfect, but it never is. And having this kind of monthly rhythm, I think is a really great way to allow me to sort of follow my instincts, make a song, and then release it into the world and see what people think of it, and then move on to the next one. And I think it's a useful exercise. But yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to keep going with this project.
Has this project been impacted by COVID-19 and the subsequent lockdown of the country?
Yeah, I mean, I'm luckily practically no, in that like I produce and write all of my own stuff. So I'm able to, despite all of this, continue creating the music, which is, I feel very grateful for. Obviously I'll have instrumentalists and people collaborate on tracks. So some of that has been done remotely. For that last song, Walking, I have a cello and a bassist and a guitarist, and all of those were remotely recorded. But I luckily can still make the music. And I mean, if anything, just sort of thematically, it's definitely informing it. That most recent song about my mom, I was like, we can't see our loved one. My mom lives in Philadelphia, so I haven't been able to see her, take trips out to the East Coast during this time. And I think a lot of people are worried for their families, worried especially for, parents and grandparents. So that informed the writing of that song. The song I'm writing for June, I won't give any spoilers, but it's definitely going to be sort of about, how we go into the summer, where we're expecting to have this great, fabulous, fun summer, and we're kind of under different conditions. So yeah, that's the other fun thing about the album, is if I had written it all at the beginning of the year, it wouldn't have necessarily acknowledged some of the stuff that's going on. But definitely thematically will be informed by what's going on for sure.
And how are you doing personally with the quarantine?
We're doing okay. I live here with my cat Alfie and my husband Casey, and we feel very lucky, as I said, to be able to still do what satisfies us, making music, sharing music. We're able to do a lot of that, which I feel very grateful for. And just taking on some little home projects. We're landscaping the hill in the backyard, something that we've been wanting to do for 4 years since we moved here, and now's the time to do that. Watching a lot of old movies. I think, like everyone else, just finding ways to make the best of a strange situation. We're, all things considered, we're very lucky and we're doing okay.
So for those who keep up with your YouTube channel, within the last month or so, you I don't know if it's existential crisis as much as just everyone's bored and they're trying to experiment with their hair. What drew you to this color particularly?
So I, for the last year, I've been dyeing it various shades of blue, and I've gotten it done professionally prior to this. Allison Varmette, who's on my hair, has done an amazing job, and I can be like, I want exactly that color, and she makes it happen. With this one, which Casey both cut and dyed the hair, I was like, you know what? As long as it looks like something, I'm gonna be happy. As long as it's not orange. So I was so pleasantly surprised with how this turned out, to be honest with you. I was not sure it was going to work at all. And we went for a kind of mermaidy blue teal. And it's kind of grown out now at the roots, but I'm so impressed. That being said, when everything opens back up, I'm going back to the salon. It was stressful for sure, but I feel like we did gain some insight into how it works and some little skills here and there. So maybe now my next task is to try to convince Casey to dye his. We'll see. I can have my revenge.
What would have happened if it didn't turn out too well?
Shave it all off. I actually, when I was in college, I was in a musical called Bat Boy, and I played Bat Boy, and I shaved my head for the role, and that was the only time I've done that. And I didn't totally hate that look. So I was always saying when we were cutting the hair, I was like, worst case scenario, if it's really bad, can just do the nuclear option and just shave it all off. But luckily it didn't come to that.
Recently, as of last week, there you, among other singers, whether it's on YouTube or just, there was a lot of singers in that lineup, 20 people. Jeez, that was such a long stream, but it was nice. How did that project come about? Which side note, I felt like that was a whole free festival.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's been amazing to see ways in which artists are able to still, obviously live music is on pause for who knows how long, which sucks. Obviously, music is so important, and the way that so many people can connect, and it's a bummer that we can't, be doing live shows and festivals. But it's been so cool to see how many streams, and not just streams, but streams for charity have been springing up, and it's been really cool to be a part of them. So that one, the Live from Home concert, was put together by Amber Liu, and a lot of those people in that lineup, including Amber, have crossed paths with in the past. And I think I'm always especially proud and excited to be involved in something with a bunch of Asian American artists who I think have been one of the voices on YouTube that have really sort of benefited from these new platforms and being able to kind of show what we can do and show that people want to hear the music that we make. And so really cool. It was really cool to be a part of that lineup of so many people that I'm friends with and fans of. And it was an ambitious long stream, but in a weird way, I think people who regularly go to concerts, obviously we can't be doing that, but I think for a lot of people, there's more ways right now to be seeing live music in a certain version, and that's cool. I think, you know, being able to open up Instagram or whatever and always have some live music going on is pretty cool. So excited to be a part of it.
Is there anything you want to add before we move on to part 2 of the interview?
Let's do it. Part 2. Yeah.
I'm excited. So that's okay. That was the conclusion of part 1. Moving on to part 2, open-ended. You ready?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Describe your music making process as a recipe.
Ooh, okay. Ingredients include 1 Sam, 1 keyboard, 1 computer, 1 Casey as a co-writer. That's pretty much it in terms of the ingredients. And then just put them all in a room. You know, step 1, start with sitting at the piano, laying down a track is usually how it starts. Step 2, loop that track a million times on the computer while, you know, you and Casey have many iced coffees and come up with a song. Step 3, record it. Step 4, put it out. And honestly, we're doing a lot of that this year. So it's a pretty simple recipe. Not a lot, actually, not a, you know, I think a lot of pop musicians, there's like a ton of writers and a ton of producers and a ton of production. And for us, it's a pretty simple, rustic recipe.
Does pineapple belong on pizza? Yes or no?
Not for me personally, no. But I don't judge. I don't judge. You know, it's a judgment-free zone. Have pineapple if you want. Not for me.
What muffin, real or made up, best represents you?
Ooh, I like a coffee cake muffin, and it represents me because, you know, I'm a hard worker. The coffee, you need coffee to work, but I got that sweet sugar on top because I can have fun. I have fun. I'm a hard worker, but I try to have fun, and that's coffee cake. You know, that little sweet little crumble on top of a coffee cake muffin. I'd say that's me. And I drink a lot. So.
And aside, I am so glad you didn't say blueberry.
A lot of people say blue. Oh, because of the hair. You know, I could have.
No. It's just like everyone does blueberries. So
sure.
For some people, I'm just like, the caveat is like, you can say anything but blueberry.
Yeah.
To a first-time listener, what song in your discography do you recommend them listening?
That is a great question. I would say my single from last year, Gold Jacket, sums up what I'm about, which is it's fun to sing, but it also has a message of sort of individuality and self-confidence that is what I'm all about. What
is the strangest headline you've seen as of late?
It's a lot, but strangest. Casey and I like to scroll through Reddit a lot and just see. So there's a lot of like weird stuff. I'm sure that's a hard one. But I guess I can say I'm always into. I was a classical Greek major, so I'm always into the headlines that are like this discovered, like new archaeological discoveries. There was just recently yesterday like a headline about a whole mosaic floor found under a vineyard in Italy, and I was really excited about that. Sometimes those archaeology headlines are like clickbait and will trick you, and it's actually a discovery from like 10 years ago, but that one was real. So that, I don't know, that's a weird answer, but you said strange, so.
Mine was the 200 goats escaping.
Oh, sure, yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing that on Reddit, like you'll just see the most random stuff, and I'm into that.
Favorite subreddit?
Favorites? Oh, I like a lot of them. I mean, like, maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but I like a what could go wrong. Just people being idiots. It makes you feel better about yourself sometimes. I mean, sometimes people get hurt on them, and you're like, there's warnings, and I try to avoid those. But there's some dummies in this world, and it's fun to sometimes see what they get up to.
What is your personality as a genre of music? You're not allowed to choose the genre you primarily sing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I primarily sing pop, but I think the next genre that describes me would probably be like show tunes. I grew up on show tunes. You know, I'm a, the dramatic little guy, so I would definitely say I love the drama of show tunes encapsulates me a little bit, I think.
During lockdown, have you baked bread?
Oh, hell yeah. Lots of bread, too much bread. I am a big baker, and then Casey has actually started making sourdough. We got some starter from a friend, and Casey's brother is really into sourdough like theory. So yeah, we have a gross jar of starter in our fridge and have made a lot of sourdough bread, but the bread is delicious.
What is your go-to drink from a coffee shop?
You know, I'm boring. It's just a black iced coffee. But I'm into oat milk these days. So sometimes I'll get a black iced coffee, but with a splash of oat milk, or I'll put in oat milk. Yeah, nothing too creative, unfortunately.
During lockdown, did you create a TikTok?
I did. Yeah, I'm not big on TikTok, but we've put a couple little like acoustic covers on TikTok, which I know is not the like main thing that people are going to TikTok to see, but threw one up there. Why not? And then I created Kurt's been doing a lot of TikTok. He's really sort of on the TikTok train, and so I went over and made a couple with him, singing a little something on a Kurt TikTok. So you can find me on TikTok.
Do you mind dropping the social for like the handle for TikTok?
Yeah, I think it's at the Sam Tsui, TheSamTsui, like a lot of my other like Instagram and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. But if you, Casey, Jason, and
Mm-hmm.
Kurt were stranded on an island and you had to resort to cannibalism,
Yeah.
who would be the first to go?
I'd have to say probably Jason, because Jason is he's like a connoisseur of like some of like the best food spots in LA. He like loves like Howlin' Ray's chicken, and he'll go stand in line, which is like this like amazing hot chicken place that you have to stand in line for like 2 hours to get a chicken sandwich. But like he does that. He's into like the good food. So he eats a lot of good food. So I think he probably tastes the best of all of us. So I'd go for him.
Who was the one that you met the latest?
Jason, because I grew up with Kurt. Obviously, I met Casey in college. So yeah, maybe that's also why, I've known you but at this point I've known him a long time, but I guess relatively to those other people, he's got to go.
Toilet paper orientation. Over, under, or it's not even on the roller?
Oh, over, right? Yeah, over.
Alrighty. If you can make one unimportant thing free, what would it be?
One unimportant thing free, what would it be? I mean, like for this is not an answer for like to make the world better, because there's probably some really good answers on that. But I don't know. For me, uh, like LaCroix seltzer water. I really like seltzer water as well, but it's like kind of expensive, even though it's just water with bubbles in it. So I feel every time I get a big pack of like LaCroix, they just should be free.
Alrighty.
What
Uh,
is that?
okay, it's like my brother likes like bubbly water, and I'm just
Yeah,
kind of like, I nickname it angry water.
interesting.
Not a huge fan, but in Texas, it seems like it's more of a Topo Chico place.
Interesting. Sure. But all seltzer is good.
Alrighty. Um, favorite dinosaur?
Pterodactyl. I liked Power Rangers. I liked Kimberly. She was the pterodactyl.
If your life was a movie, what genre would it be?
Well, then I guess this may be too similar to the music question, but it would definitely be a movie musical, like an old school Technicolor 60s like French movie musical. I look Casey introduced me to those, and those I love those, and they're just like colorful and fun with good little jazzy music. I would like my biopic to be in that style.
What is your most memorable dream as of late?
I have a lot of dreams, but I'm really bad at remembering them. I do have a lot of like performance dreams. Some people have like performance anxiety dreams of like you're on stage and you like forgot all the lines. But I feel like especially since I haven't been, being able to do shows and live performances, I've been dreaming of being on stage in like a good way. I'm like, it's a good dream. And then I wake up and I'm like, who knows when I'm gonna be able to be on tour again. But
What is one instrument that you wish you knew how to play?
guitar. I play keys and I've just never been able to. I've like learned chords here or there, but it would be nice for like production and tracking to be able to like pick up a guitar and play. But luckily I have Jason and he's great.
Yet he's the one you would pick first for
Yeah.
cannibalism.
I know this isn't a good interview for Jason. I'm revealing.
Just make sure he doesn't see the interview and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Last question.
Nice.
You have 3 chances and you have to guess my major.
Communications.
What are the other 2? I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you after it.
Okay. Communications. Like literature. I'm just gonna take a wild swing, literature. And the third one I would say like humanities, like a more general.
Interesting.
What,
You were
what,
so off.
so off? Oh no, what is it?
Bioengineering.
Sure. Okay,
Do you have any socials you want to drop?
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you want to hear more of my music, I'm on YouTube at The Sam Tsui, Instagram at The Sam Tsui, I guess TikTok at The Sam Tsui, but I don't have that many of them. But if you just search my name, Sam Tsui, you can probably find me. And I got, new music coming out on the 20th of every month this year, and a whole big back catalog of covers and originals that you can find on YouTube and Spotify. So check me out.
And then last question, is there anything you'd like to tell our listeners before we close out this interview?
Yeah, no, I mean, I hope everyone listening is staying healthy and safe and, getting through this strange, unprecedented time. All right. Thinking about all of you and everyone's families. And, hopefully, although we can't go to live music, you can listen to some music online and let that kind of remind us how connected we are. And thanks for having me.
All right, that's the conclusion of our interview.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. This is awesome.
This has been KTRU Radio signing off.